here tonight is going to be Sam Dyer. So, Sam, it's been a good season for these guys. Definitely an interesting one, as we can see right there on the screen. My first time here. You've been here multiple times. What can the fans expect here tonight?
It's going to be chaos, as the drivers have been having fun doing burnouts, wrecking during practice, just trying to get all of that energy of getting involved in wrecks out and hoping that all that bad juju's out of the way, because it is going to be 200 laps here at a little bit more than a mile and a half course where, just under a little bit more than a half a mile course. It's going to be a lot that these drivers have to handle. Short track racing here at North Wilkesboro. This is round one of our top 16 in the playoffs. And this is our third race of the round. So the drivers, their time is clicking away. We're halfway through the first round. We still got one more race after this at Twin Ring Motegi. And points-wise, it's looking very good for some of our guys up front, like that of Joseph and Logan Hamilton, top of the leaderboard in points coming into this week, and bumping that of Heldon McGill out of our points lead, which that is the first time this season that driver of Holden McGill is not our points leader. It is crazy to see the 21 playoffs come around. The points can shift just in an instant like that.
Yeah, points can definitely shift. And again, typically I'm not here. I am typically at a real racetrack, so apologize for not having the point standings in the overlays ready to go here for you. But definitely looking forward to some great racing. And again, this is one of my favorite tracks personally. I don't get to broadcast here too often. I think I've maybe done 2 other races, not counting tonight, at this particular track of North Wilkesboro since it came to the iRacing server. Not sure how many you've done, but it's a short track. It's 0.52 miles and 112 degree track temperature. So that's going to make it quite warm out on this track for such a short little track.
Yeah, that warm temperature is going to be really hindering these drivers on trying to save their tires. And the goal for most of the night is stay low early in your runs and then slowly make your way up into the second, third lane through turns 1 and 2, and turns 3 and 4, it's stay low. Biggest challenge these drivers are going to be having is, one, figuring out each other's braking points. Braking points are so different on how drivers attack these corners. Could be seen a lot of drivers running over one another. And another factor to watch out for is exiting out of the corners, especially out of 3 and 4. Exiting out of the corner, you can get it really loose, and if you find someone getting loose, bouncing off of the pit road wall, it could be causing a complete jam up of the whole entire field, and a parking lot will be made. With these drivers only having one faster pair, you don't want to be caught up in the big one early on.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to be caught up in the big one. And typically we stay on our scenic cams here, static cams, but I want to point this out real fast. This is a series, I've already seen a lot of throwback looking stuff. I just absolutely love, this is a paint job, while I wasn't the biggest Mark Martin fan, I definitely love the retro kind of Valvoline car. And some of these others, we got Mountain Dew out here, we've seen Nickelodeon, you got Wood Brothers paint job going on out here. So a lot of very nice looking rides for these guys.
Yeah, certainly a lot of nice paint schemes. We're hoping that don't get scraped up too bad here tonight. And yeah, that 6 car of Richard Springer, certainly a scheme we like seeing. And for Springer, he's hoping to have a good race here tonight. But tonight it's going to be a lot of focus on those drivers points-wise, and we already know one driver that is not showing up here tonight. That's going to be Barrick Uphold. Barrick Uphold also missed Watkins Glen, so that team looks like they are done from trying to make it out of the first round of the playoffs. They're going to have the reset, get back out there for next season, as we see here on board with Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Yeah, Taylor Butcher Benjamin in that number 1 machine. Will he put it at the top of the charts? That's the question. As we'll go ahead and bring up your top 20 here in qualifying. As you can see, nobody's put in the time yet. Qualifying just underway here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And interesting to see what kind of time it's going to be. 8:25 will be the top of the charts for now, but again, there's still about 18 other drivers that have not put in times yet.
Yeah, and for Taylor Butcher Benjamin, this is a really cornerstone race for this one machine. He has to have a solid run. He lost 4 positions after last week at Talladega for the one machine, and he's currently 8th in points. To make it to the next round, you got to make sure you're in the top 10 in the points standings for our playoff drivers if you want to make it to the next round. And what's crazy is about this league and the playoff system, there is no win and you're into the next round. It's all about being consistent and getting as many points as possible, and also getting a lot of points during our stage breaks. That's going to be another spot that these drivers can really gain points and find themselves marching forward, especially for those drivers outside of our top 10 in points, like that of Fisher, and also of Stefan Purcell, Kevin Franks. Those drivers really got to focus here tonight to have great finishes if they want to put themselves into the top 10 in points.
Yeah, and I just had that information handed to me myself, of course, by yourself, Sam, that we know it's a 200-lap race, but it's going to be lap 60, lap 120, and then they are going to just all board duke it out to the finish of this race. So, those points are important. Again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to, 1. If you're 0, you don't get any anyway. So, obviously, top 10 getting points, and those 10 points can be very crucial, as you just talked about, when you are in playoffs.
Yeah, so important. A driver we see on screen, that of Joseph. This 20 team, they have been finding speed, but they are in a very risky position here tonight. The 20 was put on probation after Charlotte, the end of the regular season, going into the playoffs. So the 20 has to be careful not to get too over aggressive, because if he gets caught up into moving too many drivers, a penalty could be served to Joseph, one of our contenders and favorites for the championship.
Yeah, he definitely is. And again, I'm catching up with everything as we go along here with about 1:53 left to go in qualifying. And it looks like about half the field's qualified, a little over half the field. But still, we'll get your opinion on this and your thoughts as far as qualifying goes. Is this typical? Do they see a lot of drivers that do not qualify? It's about 10 have not. Are they usually opting to start at the back, or is this something different maybe for the short tracks?
I mean, most of the drivers that are staying back and not qualifying are drivers that are not in the playoffs. So one driver that is in the playoffs, that's going to be Kevin Franks, currently back in, and he looks like he'll be starting further back, probably around 18th once we go green for these guys and grid it up. But everyone else, it looks like they're kind of going with the safe route of early on. Let's not put ourselves in the chaos of the middle of the field if we have a poor qualifying run. And I kind of like this call. A driver I've got to watch out for that hasn't put a timeout, got to be the 88 of that of Joseph Carey. And really one of those drivers that we've seen. Just Kazi. Kazi has been one of the drivers that has really shown up whenever he comes out to race. He's a contender up front, always in the top 3, almost every single lap. He knows how to win stages and also how to win races.
Yeah, and that is a definitely key. You've got to, do you win stage 1? Do you go for stage 2? Obviously, you want to get all the bonus points you can, but you've got to set yourself up for both of them. You can't just, go all out for one and not the other. You've got to set it up, maybe a top 3 in each stage is better than trying to burn up your tires for a win in each stage and getting nothing out of it if you fall back down out of the top 10. So those are all the strategies these guys have to make on the fly. Luckily, Sam, we just get to sit here and strategize what they could do and what they maybe should do, but we don't actually have to make those calls.
Yeah, I think the biggest calls these drivers have to be worried about is when do you want to take tires? The fuel window is about 70 laps, so we're not expecting these drivers to make any green flag pit stops unless that third stage goes all the way green. But other than that, it's going to be all about when do you pick and choose. If there's a caution fest, when do you want tires, when you don't. As the field is getting gridded up, we're going to be looking at our grid here shortly. Do want to give note, it looks like Anthony Musanti does not show up here today. It's another one of those drivers that has not shown up for all the playoff races. It looks like 2 of our drivers that are in the playoffs already taken out. So that is a little bit less competition for some of those guys that are already inside the top 10 to worry about. So it's got to be a little bit helpful, as here is our grid. Up front, it's going to be that of Holden McGill and also of Ryan Dingler in row number 2. It's going to be Taylor Butcher, Benjamin, and Joseph going to be to his outside. Row number 3 is going to be that of Grant Peterson and Logan Hamilton. Going back to row number 4, that's when we're going to be finding Kyle Green and Brett Fisher. Fisher, one of those drivers outside of the top 10, 11th in points. He's hoping to have a consistent run and get enough points for himself, with Merrick Watchhorn and Jeremy Berger finishing out your top 10.
And again, I want to apologize for any I do butcher. I'm new here tonight. I'm the new guy. In the row number 6 is going to be Colin Stone in the 43 and Frank Flores in the 23 on his outside. Row 7 in the 33 is going to be Robert Pattengell and the 57 of Stefan Purcell. In row 8 is going to be the 88 of Joseph Causey and the 6 of Richard Springer. In row number 9 is going to be the 3 of Nate Brooker, and I already saw that name. It said Nate Dog was his nickname. I saw that in the communications channel, so we'll definitely go by that some here tonight. And on the outside is going to be the 03 of Noah Carmichael. In row 10 going to be Stephen Perriott in the 27 and the 98 of Kevin Franks. Row 11 going to be the 82 of Lauren McFadden and Sean Deal in the 44. And rounding out the field going to be Ryder Strofe, I believe would be the correct pronunciation on that, in the 58. That is going to do it for your team 126 Racing starting grid. Sam, they are off for 2 warm-up laps to get a little heat in these engines, and then we are going racing.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers all excited for this 200-lap race. Again, stage 1 that we are racing to is at the end of lap 60 for these drivers. Top 10 finishers in that stage will get bonus points for themselves. And you touched on it, the strategy calls of, do you want to finish well during the stages? If you've got drivers that are finishing in the top 10 during the stages, then finish back in around 15th, 16th at the end of the race, you have to practically, with those bonus points, like you finished up in 7th. So you want to make sure you do well during the stages, and you get as much information as possible before you go into that last stint of this race.
Yeah, you definitely do. And just because we can, why not? We put it up there. You look right above versus pacing. It'll say L-TAC, stage 1, 60 laps. Oh, definitely keep an eye on that. And we'll let you know how it's going. We'll even separate that a little bit for you. There you go. Stage 1, 60 laps. At the completion of lap 60, we'll throw the caution, or they'll throw the caution. We won't. And we'll see how it goes, but it is green flag time here, and Sam, we love to do it, as we're going to kick a little asphalt here tonight.
We got to see 3 laps there for these guys here for the L-TAC Cup Series. And up front, it's Holden McGill. He lost the points lead, and he's trying to gain as many positions as possible. As up front, the 21 already up to over a second lead. And it's getting closer and closer to a second as battling for second place. It's Ryan Dingler and Logan Hamilton. Everyone else, they're trying to figure out how to get through this track, as right now, 5th on back. It is a jam-packed solution of that of Peterson, Green, and now 3 wide action, and that is going to be Taylor Butcher, Benjamin stuck in the middle, as drivers we saw getting loose, having issues, and all the way in the back, it's going to be Ryder Schauf about to be going a lap down already.
Yeah, he is definitely got to pick it up a little bit in that number 58 machine. Ryder South definitely falling backwards, and they're still duking it out towards the front. That is a 76 of Butcher Benjamin. Sorry, this is one of Butcher Benjamin, the 76 of Kyle Green, battling side by side. They got the 52 of Grant Peterson right behind them. They are just, this is what you expect when you come to short track racing. As we go to Joseph in the 20, we can look out the right rear of his car and you can see just exactly what these guys are seeing in front of him and behind them. That is side by side. That is typical short track racing, but somebody's got to give at some point, Sam.
Absolutely. I mean, this track's so unique on the fact that going up into turn number 1, you're slightly elevated. Going higher than into 3 and 4, you're going down slightly. The elevation change really enables these drivers to attack differently through these corners. 1 and 2, you've kind of, with the help of gravity, you can run a couple of different lanes, but through 3 and 4, your goal is to be all the way down, all practically hitting the grass at times, or being a groove higher than that. As we see now, the 52 of Peterson, he's trying to attack as well. Here comes Watchhorn. Merrick Watchhorn gets very aggressive, almost taking out the 1, but got to be careful for these guys early on. You can burn up your tires so quick that for the first 20 laps, you might feel like you got plenty of grip to be aggressive, sliding all over the place, but for those final 40 laps, you are going to be feeling all of the damage that you put into these tires.
Yeah, that's one thing you really, whoa, as we got one going around, and that is Ryder Strauss, our lap car, just hard into the outside wall. As we'll take a look at a Pulse Poppers replay, and apologies to Cody Knott. We didn't have time to get the old replay in there for you, but this is a Pulse Poppers instant replay. Check them out, get some Pulse Poppers stuff. And Sam, I'm not sure what happened here, but maybe a lap car or a lead lap car maybe making a little contact with the lap car. We'll see, as the 20 is around him.
Yeah, it's actually going to be seen Shroud going in the corner, just locks up the brake, slides, overcorrects, and Butcher Benjamin nowhere to go, gets side swiped, and everyone else somehow evades one another. And that is probably the more miracle, is the fact that everyone else able to evade the carnage around them. But certainly you don't like to see the cars being caught up in a mess this early on. And for that of the 58, he already started on pit road, so he's already in a deficit, and it just got worse. Most likely going to be having to take a fast repair for the 58 machine this early on.
Yeah, that's, like I said, the last thing you want to do is start in behind it. That's one of those deals. I've been in that scenario, whether it was on here racing or just in general life. You start out behind, it starts you frustrated, and then you just make, mistakes that you might not make, like locking it up and getting to the outside wall. I guarantee you, had he started the race like he wanted to, on the track, not in the pits, he might not have been as frustrated, and that mistake might not have happened. So it's unfortunate, but, sometimes just that frustration gets to you.
Yeah, and, for that of Ryder Strauss, he's now going to be coming into pit road, use that fast repair, and I think he's going to take a lot of notes here of, okay, well, what are some things? Going to be probably one of the slower cars on track, but now I can learn, hey, I got on the brakes a little bit too hard. Maybe change your brake bias up so you're not just slamming on it and being aggressive, but really find those braking points that you can attack these corners, but also not completely ruin the balance of your car on entry. Like we saw, bringing out our first yellow of the day. Other drivers that were involved with this touched on it. Butcher Benjamin was hit, but it looks like as long as, for short track racing, as you can have a little bit of aero damage and scrapes and bruises all over the place. As long as your engine is still at full power, you still got a shot to be running up front, battling for the lead, even if you're looking like a modified.
Yeah, and then coming into this, I did a little bit of homework, very little. I don't do a lot, but I did my homework, and we were talking about the Talladega race that was single file. Talladega, a track where if you were looking like a modified in that 58 machine, you would be done for the night. There's no point in coming back. You're probably not going to win unless the entire field looks just like your car, and the odds of that happening are pretty slim. However, like you mentioned, here at a short track like this, beating, banging, scraping, you don't need all that aerodynamics. You could still win the race as long as that engine is running, as you reiterated on a second ago. And speaking of going, green flag is about ready to drop one more time to start lap 16, as we'll be doing 16 of 60 here in stage number 1.
We had Springer and Shroud come into pit road. Looked like for Springer just to top off on fuel, help himself out. But up front, it's Holden McGill. Great launch for the 21. And he can take note of that. Even if he's got older tires, that is a great launch that could win him a race if we go into a green-white scenario later on in this race.
Yeah, that's the thing with short track racing is, a lot of it is about good launches and position. If you can hold that bottom line, you can potentially hold off anybody behind you. Even if they have fresher tires, they're going to have to use the chrome horns if they want to get by. And you can watch this battle right here as you're watching Joseph and Logan Hamilton. We'll see which line really prevails here. And surprisingly, well, I was going to say it was the high side, but it's not necessarily. The bottom side maybe stronger in 1 and 2, or corner entry, corner exit. The top side's more dominant, but neither one of them really have an advantage at this point.
Absolutely not. I mean, we've got currently our 2 drivers tied for the points lead currently in this first round of the playoffs, battling for second place. In front of them, Holden McGill trying to get back into the points lead. And now they're about to get side by side once again as Ryan Dingler, Kyle Green, they're duking it out as Green on the inside of the 8 machine. And for Ryan Dingler, got to be careful. He's gotten a little aggressive here recently. He got penalized last week for 4 points. Not one of our playoff drivers, but certainly got to be careful not to get into too much trouble. If you've already got into penalty problems a week prior, if you get into more penalty problems, could be watching out to be on probation.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want to do is if you're already in the hot seat when it comes to race control, which a shout out to race control, Nolan Rimple, our very own announcer. We're looking to get him in. The schedule's just hard to fit him in sometimes, but he's definitely a great announcer and obviously good race control as well, as the battles are still raging up here towards the front in 4th and 5th between Green and Dingler. Dingler trying to go on the inside, and he might make it work. I did see earlier when we were talking about that battle on the inside versus outside, the outside lane actually prevailed in the end and made it work. However, this time it was the inside line. So I don't know if it was necessarily the line at that point then, Sam, as much as it was that car and that driver were just handling a little bit better.
Yeah, and it helped for Kyle Green to be able to make that pass because Ryan Dingler just had a nose full of the 91 of Merrick Watchorn. Watchorn almost took out the 8th bumper, so these drivers extremely close. Like I talked about, the braking zones, it's different early in the race, and it just gets more and more different as the run goes on because different drivers have protected their tires, conserving them for the later run, while other drivers are being so aggressive that they need to get on the brake a little bit more than what they usually would, as the pass being made currently for 8th place is Watchorn getting underneath that of Dingler, and these drivers still battling hard up front as everyone else in the back seems to be cleaning up, getting single file out until you go back to around 14th where drivers are all on top of one another. Back out the field, still not a safe place to be.
Yeah, it is definitely not a safe place to be. Imagine smacking a hornet's nest and then them all coming behind you. That's how it is back here. This is just a hornet's nest as they're still not settled out. The front, like you said, they're slightly settled out here, and I say that, but here comes the 76 of Green running down Hamilton, so we'll see how that one plays out. But yeah, they're definitely not sorted out in the front, and they're starting to get a little dicey up at the front as well now.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Green trying to get right on the quarter panel of the 12 of Logan Hamilton, and has gotten there. Kyle Green, he had a little bit of an argument racing incident with that of Carmichael back at the Glen starting off the playoffs, but ever since then Kyle Green has slowly methodically been moving forward, but a Logan Hamilton out of control and somehow holds on. But the car that got the worst hit was the 76 of Kyle Green, but we stay green.
Yeah, and you can see right there as we'll go to Green, we'll go to his rear facing cam, and you'll see there it is, as you'll see Hamilton. Look at the damage to that back splitter right there. It is definitely crinkled up, and he may have another shot in the shorts there. Looks like from the 91 of Watchorn, I believe it is. That's right behind him. Yes, it is. So these guys getting nice and aggressive here early on in this race. So look at that damage. That is some serious damage to the back of that car.
Yeah, and for Logan Hamilton, he really can't retaliate. The 12, also one of those drivers that has been aggressive and got to be on a watch list at times. Is Watchhorn trying to get on the outside, just not able to find the space as the 12, just running a little bit too high for an opening for the 91. But Kyle Green, after making the bump with Logan Hamilton, who looks like he really just heated up those tires, burning them off way too soon. He's now in trouble of possibly losing even more ground as other drivers tagging on to that of Watchhorn and Dingler on the back end of the 12. That's going to be that of Grant Peterson. Also, going to be a Berger coming in with the 97. I mean, Berger, certainly one of the drivers that helped out last week for that of Nate Brooker to get the win, helping with the draft, tried to help his teammates win, but it kind of backfired for himself, giving that of the 3 the victory instead.
Yeah, and interesting. I like the name Jeremy Berger. And, of course, we got Burger King on the car here for tonight's race. I'm not sure if it's his regular paint job, but definitely, hey, go get you a flame-broiled burger there from Burger King. Good burgers indeed. And this battle still is underway here in the back. From about 14th all the way down to about 19th is wrapped up right here in this battle.
Yeah, and you've got some playoff drivers in the mix of all this, that of Sean Deal and then Brett Fisher. They're mixed in, trying to get through all of this craziness. Also, that of Pattengale going to be stuck on the high side for the 33. And we were touched on the fact that, the outside looked quick early in the run. It looks like the longer the tire wear gets in, the better the inside lane is for protecting your tire wear, as well as getting these better runs coming out of the corner. Just because everyone's sliding a little bit too much and not able to get on the throttle as soon as they would like, the longer the run goes on.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to see some of our first cautions here. We've seen one, but we could potentially see more. We know we'll see one at the completion of lap 60 and 120, but we potentially could see some more in there. I ain't going to lie with you, Sam. For being a short track with 20 drivers on it, they're doing a really good job of keeping these cars clean, especially when the track, mentioned was 112 degrees earlier. It's 122 now. It has ramped up, and a lot of that is because these, the way iRacing works, they're going around this track laying down rubber. The heat from the cars, it's all laying down heat in this track, and the slipperier it gets with worn out tires, it is going to make it really, really a handful for these drivers to get around this place, and they're doing a fantastic job of doing that right now.
Absolutely, and here's some more playoff drivers side by side. It's Colin Stone and also that Stefan Purcell. These guys really battling hard for themselves. For Colin Stone, he's in a very comfortable spot, 4th in points for himself, has quite a large margin of over 30 points of a gap between himself and 10th place in points of Robert Pattengale. Before that, of Purcell, he's got a lot of work to do. 12th in points, and he's got himself as being issues up front. That's going to be Kyle Green, who was he was up to 3rd, and now Spun's looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's definitely going the wrong way on the one-way, so we'll take a look and see what happened to your Pulse Poppers replay again. Cody, not sorry, we didn't have time to get it in, but we know it's a Pulse Poppers replay. Check them out. Get your fishing lures for a while it is. And I'm thinking this one may have been by himself. He is all alone on the track in the number 76. Looks like Bush Light Machine. We'll see. It just broke completely.
Oh, my goodness. That right there looks like he shifted down way too soon, and it just spun that sucker around instantly.
Yeah, we're going to go take a look, and we'll see if we can keep an eye on that tack there. You look at his RPMs. Excuse me. Try to see what happened. But, yeah, it just totally broke on him and right into the outside wall.
Here. And you're seeing the RPMs. They're just climbing, screaming. They go up to 9,000 and then instantly go down.
Yeah, instantly 3,000. So, yeah, he definitely looks like he possibly shifted wrong, downshifted too many gears. He very well, it stayed at 300 RPMs. He very well could have been shifting, trying to get it into, whatever 4th, 5th gear he was going, and may have actually put that thing in neutral.
I mean, still, even if you're shifting down, that's so soon to go shifting down into a lower gear. Usually you do that through the center of the corner so you can get a better launch out. That's just a very odd spot. I think that just had to be a mistake. Looks like we do have a driver that has decided to park it for the day. That's going to be the 82 of Lauren McFadden. This is a surprise to see the 82 park it this early. I know McFadden wasn't having the best run, but decided to come in pit road and said, you know what, I think we're done for the day.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate to be out of the race this early, but everybody else staying out on the track, no surprise. That's, nobody's coming in. We didn't expect it yet. We are however, on lap 44 of 60 of stage 1. So we'll see who comes down, during the stage, or could they possibly go ahead and stay out? Are those tires that valuable that you want to come down on the stage? You mentioned earlier it's around 70-ish laps that they can make it on fuel. So do you come down on that stage or not?
Here's another caution within the next 5 to 6 laps. You might want to think about coming into pit road under that caution, just because it would give you a shot to, pit, get your tires fuel, and keep that track position for letting all those other drivers pit. But we did have Taylor Butcher-Benjamin, Kevin Franks, and also Richard Springer come in, get tires for themselves. But up front, it's Holden McGill bringing us to the green.
Yeah, we are racing one more. Make passes here. We'll see how long they stay side by side, or if they are going to go ahead and single file out quickly. If it's me, I want to get single file as quickly as I can. Single file is going to be a lot harder to pass on this little tiny, again, half-mile track, 0.52 miles, the exact distance around the bull ring. So definitely want to make my moves now and get single file and just hold it that way.
Driver that started in the back, Al Green, he was hit with it again squirrely, as Grant Peterson got to be watching out for himself. But Merrick Watchorn, he's keeping it close. It's the closest we've seen anyone stay with Holden McGill this early on after a restart. Usually at this point, McGill's already up to about a half a second or more. Got to be thinking that Holden McGill might have been burning up the stage 1 to go green all the way. Wasn't expecting that caution flag, and now it's bringing these drivers a shot to switch things up. And the driver that's on the move right now, it's the one of 17th all the way up to 10th in just a few laps.
Yeah, you can see him right there in that Mountain Dew machine. He is on his way. He's into the inside. Oh, he's almost going to make it.
And trying to follow right behind the 1. That's going to be the 6 of Springer, who's just trying to follow in the same tire tracks. And it's kind of working out for themselves up to 9th. And it certainly is looking good for himself, but based on the time and how long it takes to get by one driver, it takes almost a full lap. There's just in the bigger distance there is between the 1 and our leader for him to win, but getting as many stage points, it's looking really promising for the 1.
Yeah, it definitely is, and keep in mind, we are here for stage number 1 as they are still going to go try to go 3 wide, and ironically, they're trying to go 3 wide as we call it, the hot dog between the buns, Burger patty between the buns, because that Burger King machine was right smack dab in the middle of 2 cars. He kind of gets it sorted out. He's not there anymore, but to Holden McGill right now, he is holding get those 10 bonus points with just about 7-8 laps to go now, 7 to go before that stage caution.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be touching Holden McGill, it's going to have to be someone off sequence with the tire strategies, because on the same strategy calls of tires, equal footing, this 21 is unbeatable currently, absolutely dominating, leading every lap so far, and continuing to just run. Again, stage 1 comes to a close at the end of lap 60. And Holden McGill's looking poised to win stage 1 and trying to max out those points so that he could be becoming our points leader again after losing that throne after last week.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the points are. We'll have to see if we can't get that from possibly Nolan Rimple over there, what the points are. I would imagine, based on most NASCAR stuff, they're somewhere like 43, 42, 41, so on down, unless they have some kind of special points. So we know it starts with 10 and goes to 1 for the stages. So if it is 43 points for the win, and you win both stages like McGill is doing right now, that's 40, 50, 60. That is 60 3 points that he could potentially lock away. That is a huge bonus, keeping in mind if, you know, say second place in points doesn't finish in the top 10 in any of the, or either of the stages, and only gets 42 points because he finished the second, you just netted 20 more points, and actually 21 more points than he did coming into this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible the amount of points that you can gain if you do well during the stage, and then also finish in the top 5, top 10 after having such strong finishes for themselves. Right now, Taylor Butcher Benjamin up to 4th place for himself, and winner does get 43 points if you win, not counting for all the bonus points, and then it does go 1 each time. But there are those bonus points of winning the race, leading the most laps, and getting the pole position. So for these drivers up front, Holden McGill, he already got that, got the pole position bonus point. He's looking poised to get the most laps led, and also getting all the bonus points from the stage. Holden McGill was only about 2 points back coming into this race from that of Logan Hamilton and Joseph that were tied for the points lead. So it's looking good for Holden McGill to get that points lead back if he continues on this dominance train, as that is the end of stage number 1.
Yeah, caution is out. No replay to look at. It, of course, is the stage caution. So since it is the stage caution, they're going to be pitting. We'll come back and recap if we miss them, but we're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We got some sponsors and partners we got to thank, but we will come back, recap pit stops, or watch them live here in just a minute on LSRTV.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As pit stops underway right now, you'll get to see who does come off first, and no surprise, in out first, that's Holden McGill. However, Taylor Butcher Benjamin did not come down pit road.
No, he did not come down pit road. He came into pit stops about 14 laps left in stage 1 and made that pit stop. And this is going to be really good information for the one to see, with a 21 lap difference, what are the tires really going to look like for themselves here, as a rundown of what your top 10 were for the end of stage 1. Getting those bonus points is going to be Holden McGill, Merrick Watchhorn, Joseph, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, and Grant Peterson going to be your top 5. Then getting the last of those stage point bonus points going to be that of Logan Hamilton, as well as Richard Springer, Purcell, Berger, and also that of Flores of the 23. Frank Flores, this is a great showing. He's a little bit under the radar, but this is exactly what Flores needs for coming into this race, being last of our top 16. He's got a large mountain to climb, but hey, a good way to start out here during stage number 1.
Yeah, definitely a good way to start here. And I'm looking at the times here based on it. So these guys in the top 10, one of the most impressive ones is you look down towards 6th, 7th, 8th. Look where these guys are starting from: 15th, 14th, 12th. We even have one starting in 9th that finished second in that stage. So, they're starting from further back in this field. Some of those obviously not qualifying is why, but they start deep and they work their way to the front.
Not to make any mental errors. I touched on the fact that Kyle Green got an EOL during our last caution. That was an on-track caution. He got that EOL because he drove through in his pit stall. So drivers, even under caution, have to be worried to not be caught making mental errors, such as going through too many pit boxes as we're about to go green.
Yeah, the ticker there's green flag drop. Stage 2 is underway. 60 more laps on the books is what we're going to complete. Actually, a little less than that because it goes to 120. Sam, 7 of those were actually done under caution. So about 53 laps technically for this stage. So that makes it a little bit tougher because now you don't get 60 laps from the stage to get to the front. You actually have about 50. Granted, that's not a huge number, but still less.
Oh, they were 3 wide there for a second. Joseph, Logan Hamilton able to get by, but just in a blink of an eye, with 21 lap holder tires, the one of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, he is begging for grip. The one machine just went from first all the way back to 7th, about to lose even more ground. And look who's up front. It's that of Holden McGill once again. That 21 machine is just so dominant here today. I don't know if there's anyone on the track that even has a shot to catch up to him.
Yeah, I want to get a hold of Wood Brothers Racing and tell them, that Holden McGill, they need to put him behind the wheel of a Wood Brothers car. It's been a long time since I've seen Wood Brothers Racing in Victory Lane, but, put him behind the real wheel. He might make it happen. He's dominating here for sure. As, like you mentioned, that Butcher Benjamin, he is just falling like a rock. He needs to get some fresh tires. 29 laps on those tires right now. And this is what I talked about a little bit earlier, Sam, was, he ran a good to get bonus points in stage 1, but he didn't pit. Now he's sacrificing because he wanted the track position in stage 2. Was it a winning call? We'll see. And I'm not sure. Again, it's my first time producing and announcing this series. Tires.
They do. These drivers came into this race with 5 sets in total. 1 that they had starting the race and 4 in pit road. Most of the field has already used 1 set from pit road, which for that Butcher Benjamin, he could have used that 1 set and then used a set for, our stage 1 break, a set for the stage 2 break, and then maybe for the end of the race, if a caution came out in the middle of that 3rd stage, like he's saving those tires for just in case another caution happens in the middle of stage 2. Could be making the same strategy call of pitting and then cutting his way. Within 14 laps, he went from 17th up to 4th in practically no time.
Yeah, he's playing, I think, a strategy here. Playing a caution strategy. He is banking on some cautions coming out in the later stages. So he got his bonus points. He'll fall back on bonus points now. But I think he's playing a caution strategy to where if we get a lot of cautions in the later parts of this race, and as we've seen here, fresh tires mean a wonder if you are racing. So definitely that is something I think he's banking on, is this race having some cautions. However, I don't know if I'd say that's a winning strategy here tonight, because we have not seen just a boatload of cautions like we're used to seeing at short track racing.
Yeah, our only 2 on-track cautions that have come out besides our stage caution was 2 drivers self-spinning, one getting hard on the brakes and just locking them up over correcting, the other being a downshift too early entering the corner that spun him around. So it hasn't been drivers making a whole lot of mistakes. I think our only chance of possibly having a wreck was when we saw Logan Hamilton getting loose and the whole entire rear end. We already know that spoiler jacked up. The rear end has been pushed up a lot more on the left side after getting some more contact from the 8 machine. So for Logan Hamilton, he has been absolutely the pinball all over this track. He's been bumped around, moved around, but somehow still up in 5th position. And got to give credit to those that are up front. Merrick Watchhorn, he is not letting Holden McGill get away. He is still within 3/10 of our leader. And both these drivers, they look like, for myself watching coming in so late into the season, coming in during the last race of the regular season at that of Charlotte, it was Merrick Watchhorn that really showed and impressed me. And week after week, this 91 seems to always be a driver that knows how to get up front. The question is, does he have the tires and the strategy call to try to get by the 21 that we haven't seen anyone been able to do it under green to get by that of Holden McGill?
Yeah, nobody has really been able to get by him, so I'm definitely looking to see if somebody can. Or is McGill setting himself up for a win here tonight? I think he's definitely doing everything he needs to do. But, one thing he can't bank on is if somebody else finds what he found and they start moving to the front as well. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him to maintain that lead, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do right now.
Driver that played spoiler last week, that of Nate Brooker. has cracked into the top 10 and now going to be moving up into 9th for the 3 machine, as we're still looking at that of Ryan Dingler. That 8 machine is doing everything in his power to get by Logan Hamilton, but just needs a little bit more help. Might have to use that chrome horn to get by the 12 machine, and we've already seen get roughed up a couple of times, but still hold steady.
Yeah, these guys are, again, it's so tough on these little short tracks like this. You have to be, flawless. You talk about super speedways where you have to do everything perfect. You can't do anything, to get out of line. You lose the draft. Granted, you don't have to do all that here, but you still have to be good. Right there, you can see the 8 of Ryan Dingler. He gets a little bit sideways coming out of the corner. Little mistakes like that are what's going to cost you, and it's not going to cost you aerodynamics. It's going to cost you in tires. You do not want to overdrive the tires. You do not want to slide sideways. Anything like that's going to flat spot and scuff these tires up, and they're going to wear out a lot faster than they already are, and that's what's going to cost you to just put that chain around your leg and fall to the back.
Yeah, and for these drivers, almost halfway through stage number 2, it is a shorter stage, so I think that's where the drivers are recognizing, hey, you can be a little bit more aggressive here. Don't need to heavily focus on saving tires as much as you did during stage 1. And stage 2, a lot of time to give drivers some notes for how to attack that third and final stage of the race, because, stage 1, how do you save your tires to have a great run? Did I need to change something up? Stage 2, with it being slightly shorter, you can really be a little slightly more aggressive and figure out, okay, I can be this aggressive for these many laps. Then I need my tires as much. As we're seeing here, really, Watchhorn, he's trying different lanes, but it's just not working out for the 91. He's getting close to the bumper, but he's not to the quarter pace really solidify a pass here.
Yeah, he is doing, again, everything right. It's just, sometimes it's just not your day, and unfortunately today may be that day. But it's not over yet. We are only on lap 91 of 200. However, we are about at the halfway point, and typically, Sam, we like to do a kick in the asphalt a little bit. I think we hold off on that. I want to do it on the lap 127-ish when we come back from the stage, and let these guys and gals out there watching really hear the cars. And again, can that 21 get both stage wins? If he does, that is a great bonus. And I would venture to guess that if he leads here another, 12, 15 laps, he's pretty much assured himself of the most laps led here as well.
Yeah, I mean, for Holden McGill, if he wins stage 1 and stage 2, then finishes back in 18th, 19th position, he'll practically have the same amount of points as if he won the race and didn't lead the most laps or get pole. Like, if he didn't get any of those bonus points and just won the race. It's crazy how stage points can help you really overall. If you have a solid stage 1 and 2 and a poor finish to the race, you can really have that. As right now, watching the incredible racing that's going on for 7th place, as that of Purcell going a little bit wide on the going through 3 and 4, giving an opening here to Jeremy Berger to the inside. The 97 just went a little bit too low for my liking, but he's trying to get that run off, trying to get straight as they both bobble coming out of the turn 2, and it's going to be Purcell continuing to drop back for the 57. Nickelodeon's machine, he is getting slimed and going back quick.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, and another one going back as well. And there's just several. They're sliding back. Again, you got to keep in mind, excuse me, when you're talking about a stint here, Butcher Benjamin, currently 54 laps on his stint. You go up to the front runners, 34. That's a huge gap in tires.
Yeah, about 20 laps difference between the one of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who's back in 15th place. And he's got to be concerned for himself, because we didn't get to see stage 1 go green all the way because there was an incident that popped up. We're soon to be seeing some lap traffic, and the only time we saw a lap car getting under pressure and go a lap down was when we saw that of Ryder Schauff go a lap down, then locked up his brakes, spun out, and got the one of Butcher Benjamin, tagged him, and got him in trouble. Lap traffic could be problematic, as it's giving a chance for Watchhorn to get close up to the 21 of McGill, as that is going to be the 33 of Robert Pattengale. And Pattengale came in going to be 10th in points. He cannot have this poor of a showing here today. It could be pushing him outside of the top 10 going into our final race of round number 1 at Twin Ring Motegi in 2 weeks. You got to make sure you find some pace here for the final stage and hope that no one else goes a lap down.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to be at the bottom of the tier when it comes to the playoffs. Again, that is where you get eliminated from. Elimination's not fun, especially not round 1. You know, if you make it to the final 4 and you get eliminated, you don't win, that's one thing. But to get eliminated on round 1, you know, I've never been in a playoff where that happened, but, you know, I can imagine it's like Survivor, being the first one voted off the island. It can't be fun as a driver.
No, I mean, you have so much in your mind of how do I want to attack the next couple of racetracks and like the second round, and then you get taken out and all your motivation for those races could go away. And, you know, in some other leagues, once you get knocked out of the round, some drivers don't show up. So we're hoping that that doesn't happen here, where the drivers continue to show up, continue to show the field, and give opportunities for the drivers that make it to the next round to gain or lose points. But certainly it makes things difficult and kind of demoralizing if you make the playoffs and then you're out instantly after round 1.
Yeah, it definitely does make it a not so fun experience for you, to say the least. But these guys are doing a good job up front. I saw a little bit of battling going back here as well, and it's actually a little bit further back. It's Flores and Purcell still battling. It looks like Frank Flores is going to get by the 57 of Stefan Purcell, and he'll pass him pretty easy too. He got by him, and he's kind of checked out about 2.5 car lengths ahead. So unfortunate for the 57. He's going back, but hey, the 23 is going forward.
Yeah, and Purcell, he's one of those drivers that was outside of the top 10, 12th in points coming into this week, and he was about 8 points back from that of Robert Pattengale, and now being pushed back. Pattengale, he's having a poor race for himself, so those 8 points could be gained here, but you got to watch out for some of those other drivers like Brett Fisher, who's 11th in points. He's having himself, trying to have a good run for himself in 12th position, and it might be just enough for the 30 machine to get into the top 10 with Pattengale's woes. Purcell, like I said, 12th in points. Kevin Franks, 13th in points coming into today's race. And then, that of Frank Flores, who just cracked into the top 10 after getting by Purcell. He's about 20... I think he might be about 33 points out from that of Pattengale. So for Flores, it's kind of you needed to win today and in 2 weeks at Twin Ring Motegi to have a shot for Flores to get into the next round. Hey, but a great showing for himself, who's looking to get a 10th place finish in stage 1 and in stage 2.
Yeah, that's again, points are king here. And speaking of points, as we are 11 laps away, whoa! And McGill getting way loose, and that may allow Watchhorn to get to the bottom and get by him. But what a slide there. He was completely sideways, somehow saves it, and maintains the lead.
The fastest of our top 3, though, is going to be Joseph in the 20. He is now back to the back bumper. Our top 3 all within a half a second of one another, as we are now 10 laps to go in stage number 2 of this evening. Joseph, he's gone back to our leaders in at a prime time. We've got lap traffic that could be making the moves and giving it a shot here as Watchhorn to the quarter panel of the 21. McGill's got to be careful as he's got his competitors right on his back bumper.
Yeah, that 91 of Watchhorn, he is going to use that 38 as a pick, or 98, sorry, as a pick if he can. He's not able to do it, it doesn't look like, so he'll have to regroup and try it again. But using a lap car as a pick, that is an age-old strategy, and we'll see if he can do that. And not going to happen this time around, as it looks like the 98 is going to slide up, and here comes the 43. He needs to set himself up perfect in order to allow the lap car to be used as a pick.
Going extremely high is going to be the 98, just trying to get out of the way, but that of Holden McGill able to try to get by Colin Stone will do so. Stone stays high, going to back off the throttle just a little bit, not trying to pressure the leaders at all, giving it plenty of space. And you got to love it when the lap traffic is trying to not influence this at all, going so high practically going up to the wall to make sure that our leaders have all the space in the world.
Oh, and speaking of space, he almost spaced it right into the wall. Man, that car was loose. That 21, 52 laps on his tires. He has got to be ready for this stage caution in 5 laps, and he is doing everything he can to not only, maintain the lead, but just to hold on to this car at this point. As he is, every time that 91 gets a little bit low on the inside of him, that car gets extremely loose. He's taking the air off, and you do that with old tires. It's a wonder he hasn't turned that 21 around yet. He has come very close to doing it multiple times as they're side by side for the race lead.
4 laps to go in stage number 2, and now we got another pack of lap cars, but this time, instead of being in a line, they were side by side, as McGill almost got to the outside lane of that of Ryder Straub. Now gets to the low side and right to the grass, trying to get their way through. And for that of Straub, also for the 6 of Springer, they're going to try to get out of the way. But for the 1 of that of Butcher Benjamin, I'm expecting him to be a fighting if our leaders get up to the 1 when we get to the white flag of stage 2.
Yeah, and that's coming out very quickly, and you saw that 21 of McGill just whip that car down and get to the bottom as quickly as he could. He was lucky. He had enough room to do it. He had to make that move. If he didn't, he's going to get stuck up top, and it may be all for none. He may get stuck up top anyway, as we are on lap 119. This next time will be lap 120, as they are coming to the line right there. Next time by, caution's out. This is going to be a drag race to win the stage.
Well, Holden McGill able to hold off for that lap. Watchhorn did not lead it. Here comes the 21 as the 91 gets out of shape on the exit. You got the lap car side by side, the leaders side by side. You're kind of hoping the driver in front of you gets going, and it looks like it'll be the high line. Holden McGill wins again, stage 2 to the 21.
You could not ask for a better stage, as the caution will be coming out here momentarily to complete that one. And you can already see drivers are slowing down, and there's the caution out. But man, what a stage.
No. Wreck of the drivers that are up front. It looks like Kyle Green, as well as Jeremy Berger and the 44 of Sean Deal, all caught up in a late incident when the yellow flew.
Let's go back and take a look at your Pulse Poppers instant replay, and you'll see here what happened. And again, this was under the caution. The caution had already been thrown, and these guys, looks like maybe someone didn't check up here. We're about to find out. And you see the 44 and the 97.
Watch the 97 here coming to turn 1. He hits the wall and just comes down. Nowhere to go for the 41. And then Kyle Green also nowhere to go, hard into the 44. And 3 drivers that should not have been caught up in a wreck there do so. And as now a lot of drivers coming into pit road, staying out, it's going to be Logan Hamilton and Ryan Dingler. The rest of the field comes into pit road.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about staying out. Maybe they'll come down the next time by and top off on field with 60 laps on those tires, 61 for Ryder Straub. So again, we saw that those tires are getting eaten up. That is I don't know if I like that call at all. That is an odd one, and there they come. They are coming down now, so good call. I think tires are king, and I would not want to be stuck out there with 60 plus lap tires.
Yeah, I think for all 3 of those drivers thinking, hey, why not try something different if more drivers try the same strategy out? But with only 3 guys staying out there on 60-lap old tires, it just was not worth it. Also, fuel run-wise, you had to come back into pit road within the next 12 laps when we went green again. So it just wasn't a smart call to stay out. And now Holden McGill gets the lead again for himself. As stage 2 comes to a close, here's your top 10. As stage 2, here are the results of stage 2. As that was Holden McGill winning once again. Merrick Watchhorn, Joseph, your top 3. Very similar to the way that it was during stage 1. As that of Grant Peterson up to 4th. Logan Hamilton up to 5th. Ryan Dingler, Nate Brooker, Jeremy Berger, Sean Deal, and that of Frank Flores going to be your top 10 for stage number 2. I got to give a huge thanks to also that of Tucson Sound and Art. Tucson Sound and Art introduces an entire new and enjoyable way to listen to music in your new home. It is practically a picture stereo. It is Bluetooth, and once you go to www.tucsonsoundart.com, you can find photos that they have for yourself to pick out, that they've got their gallery, or you can even upload your own photo to have your own wireless speaker playing music from the artwork. People won't even know when they come into your house, where is that sound coming from? But go look up www.tucsonsoundart.com. Again, www.tucsonsoundart.com for more information to get your own amazing sound art to impress everyone that comes to your home, as we're getting ready to go green.
Yeah, we are about ready to go green, and it's time to do an extended kick in the asphalt. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a race it has been. Sam, you know, you talk about a good race. Well, this has been one of those races, as we got one car going for a little spin. That is the 8 of Ryan Dingler, and a caution is out just as we end the kick in the asphalt.
We come back and they start wrecking, and this was something I kind of was going to touch on, of drivers getting a little bit too aggressive with it being past halfway, final stint here. You're going to see the incident from the 57 and the 8. And it's kind of a little bit of a shakeup from both drivers. Coming out of turn number 2, you're going to see both the 57 getting loose, coming down, kind of tail slapping the 8 and taking them out. But both drivers kind of loose at the same time, as here's the incident. Getting loose is that a Purcell comes down, tail slaps the 8 and right into the inside grass. Luckily, staying off the inside guardrail, because that guardrail can really rip up these cars and cause a lot more damage than kind of what the outside walls would do for yourself.
Yeah, those guardrails are very, and I mean very unforgiving, and you're going to have a couple come down. No surprise, just outside the top 10, going to be coming down and taking some fuel, possibly tires. We'll see. As we know, we have 67 laps to go. So if you took fuel on that stage caution, you know you can make it. And let's be honest, this caution is definitely reiterating that, is now you're going to save a little bit of fuel. So you should be good on fuel to the end. It might be close, but you should be able to make it, especially with this caution.
Yeah, most of the field coming in. Our leader, actually, of Holden McGill, came in just to splash off on fuel. And a driver that went with a pretty gutsy call, knowing that they've got an extra set of tires. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Jeremy Berger, and the rest of the drivers from 12th on back that came into pit road went for a set of tires here. It's going to be interesting how they're going to be attacking this field, as both that of our top 5, Merrick Watchhorn, Joseph, Logan Hamilton, Grant Peterson, Brett Fisher, as well as Ryan Dingler, who was involved in that incident, all decided to stay out. And it's only about a 11-12 lap difference on the tires, so it shouldn't be that large of a difference. for those that took tires, those that just went for fuel, which is primarily our top 11, should be feeling pretty good for themselves, tires and fuel-wise, going to the rest of this race.
Yeah, that's again, strategies are all over the place. Again, it doesn't matter whether it's tire, fuel, it's different strategies, and you know, at the end of the day, or night in this case, one of those strategies is going to be a winning strategy. And we don't know what it is yet. You know, is it conserving your tires and running them as long as you can? Is it pitting and getting fresh tires every time you can? One of those is probably the winning one. I am not sure which one it is yet, but we'll have to find out and just wait and see. But we know the green flag is going to come out, and we'll see how the restart goes.
It's exciting for these drivers. Again, this is race number 3 of the first round of the playoffs of our top 16 in points. Round 2, it's only your top 10 in points that get to move on, so the pressure to run well here for a lot of these drivers. That of Brett Fisher in 6th place. He needs to continue moving forward. Green flag got back out in the air for the Backwood 200, and it's going to be Merrick Watchorn. It's weird seeing not that of Holden McGill leading this race.
Yeah, this is the first time somebody else has led the race, and it doesn't matter for him. He's got the bonus, the 20 points for winning both stages. He's locked in the most laps led, a lap led, so he's got just about every bonus point he can. However, he still would like to see those 43 points for winning the race as a whole, but I think he'll be up there before you know it. He's not far back. He's only in 5th place, and now that he's got fresh tires, I think that 21 machine is set to go and return its cart back to the rails.
Yeah, I mean, for Holden McGill, he's one of those drivers that came in, just took fuel, but we're already seeing a wreck as yellow flag waves. I believe it's the 58 Ryder Strauss bringing out the second caution for himself to come out. And it looks like, this one could have been a little bit of a help from the 44.
I'm looking here and seeing that as well, as we're going to go high in the sky with the drone cam presented by All American Pools. And we'll see exactly what happened here. And he's right there, gets a little shot in the shorts from the 58, and then another shot in the shorts, and that time he goes around. And you know, as far as wrecks go, not a horrible one.
No, not at all. I mean, we've seen some other big ones of drivers losing their front clip because of that type of a hit. Sean Deal going to be the driver that gave multiple bumps to Strauss, and then the poor soul that just came in, that was Colin Stone, who's already a lap down. I'm wondering, I think Stone might have been in contention for a lucky dog spot there, but with him being collected, has to just come into pit road. And also a thing that's pretty interesting for this track at North Wilkesboro is because of the way that this field and the fact that pit road is stacked the way that it is, if you have one of the later pits boxes of drivers that did not qualify well, you actually could be going a lap down just by trying to service yourself if you're too far back. So drivers always have to be mentally aware of where to place yourself so you don't go a lap down.
Yeah, you definitely do, because you do not, that's one thing you don't want to do is go a lap down, because, especially in a race like this, we're seeing more cautions now. So if you go a lap down, or if you're already a lap down, which is Kevin Franks 1 lap and Kyle Green is 4 laps down, possibly you could get your laps back. We haven't seen a tremendous amount of cautions. It's actually been a great race, very low on the cautions. That is awesome to see with the short track race like this. You don't typically see it, but we're starting to see a little bit more of a trend of these cautions possibly coming in now in this last stage here with 57 laps to go. If we start seeing those cautions back, if you're a lap down, you could have a chance to get it back. If not, well, then you're going to be stuck a lap down.
Drivers are getting stacked up, ready to go. We're going this time by, and it is still that of Merrick Watchorn with Joseph to his inside, as we've been seeing the leaders liking to be on the outside on these restarts. As lights were still on, we're going to be should be going this time by now. Then he also got that of Logan Hamilton and Holden McGill. McGill's able to move up 3 positions since that last restart for himself. Again, he took a splash and go to make sure he had a top and off, make sure he had enough fuel to make it to the end. But with the fact that we had 2 quick cautions, it's giving that time for drivers that did not pit to save their fuel to be able to make it all the way to the end. But they got to be concerned for the one of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He is one of the first drivers with 4 fresh tires, about 10 laps fresher than our leaders. It's going to be a lot of work for our leaders to hold off the one if we stay green. But green flag in the air. Joseph gets out of gets a little bit of wheel spin, and they're 3 wide entering turn 1.
Yeah, they are 3 wide, and it's going to be a doozy. Oh, so we got the 20 almost in there. Joseph trying to split the middle. He does it, and that's going to push McGill out to the outside, but now he's moving his way to the front. McGill is on the hunt, and that is the hunt for the lead, and we'll see if he can get it back. While we watch this battle, I do want to quickly remind everyone, as we haven't mentioned it a lot because there's been such great racing, if you like the racing and you want to be a part of it, during November and December, when they are off with the Cup Series, they are going to be doing a Truck Series, which is a recruitment race series for this here. So if you think you got what it takes to come race with these guys and put on a show like they're doing right now, you need to get a hold of L-TAC on iRacing, and of course you can get their Discord and check them out. Again, it's a Truck Series, November, December recruitment for this series here, so definitely check them out. It's been a great race so far.
Yeah, it's been a great race, great season for L-TAC's Cup Series, and with that Truck Series recruitment, that is the only time that L-TAC is going to be recruiting for next season's Truck Cup Series. As drivers going sideways, Berger and Deal getting in contact back in 13th and 14th. Deal drops back to 15th place. But certainly these drivers in the middle of the pack, they are not afraid to bump one another now, recognizing we're in the final quarter of this race. It's time to get a little bit more aggressive. If you feel like this driver in front of you is too slow, get him out of the way. Give a little bit of a bump as driver sideways. That's Brooker, who is absolutely in the way, and somehow no one made contact with a 3.
Your guess is as good as mine as to how that didn't cause any more cars involved in it. But we're going to go look at a Pulse Poppers replay for the number 3 of Nate Brooker and see exactly what happened, or Nate Dogg, as he's referred to in the communications there. And I'm wondering if he had some help from the 1 or if this was just a self-inflicted wound. Again, we love the drone camera. We'll go to it, and yeah, just got it loose, smacks the outside wall, and around he goes.
Here comes the 6. The 6 is going to be on the high side somehow. Woo! There was no space there.
Well, we know pit stops are ongoing for a few of the front runners. That being said, though, we have got to go to the front. This is on board with Richard Springer in the number 6 machine, and you can see right there, it's just craziness. And so we're going to see exactly what happened here. And just kind of from his point of perspective, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he's just running high, trying to figure out how to get up to Jeremy Berger. Everyone's still in line. He's following. Doesn't realize until now that he's driving the high side, but he's committed to the high lane. Has to slam on the brakes, then let off so he can finally turn. And you know that the 6 was on the brake trying to slow down. Luckily, he got off the brakes. That's what allowed him to really cut down. But certainly a very scary situation for these drivers that were trying to avoid carnage around them.
Yeah, he definitely, and we won't go into the details of the fine details of an incident, a tragic accident involving a NASCAR driver, about where, brakes and gas and how you turn, but, that's exactly what he needed to do. When you're locked up on the brakes, that car does not want to turn, and by releasing the brakes, it allowed that car to free up, and he was able to turn. Like you said, if he had kept on the brakes, maybe he could have stopped in time. Probably not. And we would have seen 2 very torn up cars at that point.
Yeah, the only reason I know that he was able to slow and make that type of a move, because I've had too many times in my iRacing career where I thought I could just hold on the brake and I'll stop in time, when it would have been smarter to let off the brakes and turn and just let the car roll. But you touched on it. Drivers did come into pit road. Leading that group, Joseph, Merrick Watchhorn, Holden McGill, all coming in to get tires for themselves, as well as that of Nate Brooker, who brought out our caution, and Colin Stone, Pat and Gale getting tires for themselves, and Kevin Franks. Those are all the drivers left on the lead lap, 18 in total, with Kyle Green still 4 laps down. And it's been a day of recovery for the 76, who at one point was battling for our top 3 position.
Yeah, it definitely was. And my apologies, Nolan. I apparently need to clean out my ears. It is September to December, not November. So September, October. That's 2 more months. So yes, my apologies, Nolan. You can complain to Jeff that I don't listen. He already knows it, but you can complain to that I don't listen. But it's September through December for the Truck Series that's recruiting. Regardless of that, the green flag is back out one more time here on lap 157, and they are right back to where they left off, beating, banging sideways, 2 wide. Will we see some more 3 wide? But they are at it here tonight.
Yeah, you got Logan Hamilton already gone up to 7, almost 9, almost up to a full second difference between himself and Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Butcher Benjamin, he's trying to get by that of Brett Fisher. And Fisher, he's trying to get one of his best finishes in the playoffs right now for the 30 machine. He's needing this good of a finish. Points-wise, he's in 11th and looking poised and good to possibly, with a good finish here, would put him inside of the top 10 going into Twin Ring Motegi in 2 weeks, as that would be our final race of round 1. A lot of pressure for these drivers, but in the middle of the pack, there's a lot of mix-up of our favorites, of that of Joseph, Washorn, and also that of McGill. They are all stuck in the middle of the pack in about 9th position, and it is not looking good for themselves, because they're going high, low, 3 wide, 2 wide, as right now, Holden McGill, Joseph, and also Springer 3 wide, as they're trying to figure out who's going to be in 8th place.
Yeah, no, the 6 getting totally loose right there in Springer as he turns the car sideways. He manages to get it going in the right direction, but they are still 3 wide back here. They're going to sort it out for the moment, but man, again, short track racing at its finest. By far in my broadcasting career, one of the best short track races I have seen in a long time. Oh, and the 21 of
he's still drifting. Holden McGill is still drifting around, able to hold on in the center of the corner.
Yeah, McGill definitely has the skill set to win this race. He's mired deep in the field, but he has some of the freshest tires, and he's going to use those tires, and probably every bit of them, to try to get back to the front here with only 38 laps to go.
Yeah, and the driver with the freshest of tires moving up, that's Joseph, up to 6th, about to be up to 5th as he's side by side with the 30 machine. And right now, following also in the tire tracks of the 20 is going to be that of Merrick Watchhorn. These are the 2 drivers that are trying to run down Logan Hamilton. Hamilton has over a 2.1 second lead over that of Joseph, and it needs to grow, because once the 20 gets some fresh air, he's no longer dealing with the drivers with older tires. This 20 is going to take off like a rocket ship and run down Logan Hamilton in no time. I gotta hope that the drivers hold him up for a little bit longer. But now Joseph up to 3rd. Next driver's got to worry about is Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Yeah, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. What a story here tonight. From the front to the rear to the front again. This Mountain Dew machine has been all over the track. Has a little bit of damage too on top of that, but it's not slowing that machine down at all. But again, that one machine has been up front to the back, and just all over. He has been all over this track here now, but right now he's about to be in 3rd, because here comes Joseph in that 20, and I think he's about to say, see you later, I'm moving on to the top, and I am going for that lead.
34 laps to go, and Joseph is clear. He's got 1.3 seconds is the difference between the 20 and the 12. Tire difference, over 29 laps is the difference for Joseph and Logan Hamilton. Hamilton's a sitting duck right now, and he did the best that he could, trying to break that lead and make it as big as possible.
Yeah, and you go here, you can look on the rear facing of Logan Hamilton in that 12, and you'll see that 20 reeling him in. I can only imagine this is what it was like to see Dale Earnhardt in your rearview mirror just scare you to death, knowing he's fast, he's coming, and you want to talk about fast. 19.5 and 9.7 for Hamilton's last lap, 19.1.79 for Joseph. He is much faster, and he is coming to the front, and he is going to try to take this lead very quickly.
With the driver that's the fastest of our top three, that's Merrick Watchhorn back in third place, a 91. He wasn't really trying to use those tires as much as Joseph because Joseph was the spearhead, as they're now going to be side by side for the lead. Coming to 30 laps to go, it's going to be Joseph. He's right at the center, and now here's Watchhorn on the outside. That's not where you want to be, I think, for Watchhorn. He should have followed. Tail whipping is going to be the 12 to the 20.
Yeah, right now, Sam, you want to go pack or pop a bag of popcorn, because this is getting good, and I need some popcorn for this entertainment right here. As Watchhorn and looks like Joseph getting a little contact there. They're beating the bacon, and that actually might have been Hamilton. But either way, these guys are just all over each other. 1, 2, and 3 right there, but you still have to keep an eye on that 21 machine. He's got fresh tires too in the 4th or 5th position, and as soon as he gets by, there he is, by Butcher Benjamin, I think we're going to have a 4-car battle for the lead.
Absolutely. I mean, Holden McGill, I mean, he's had a couple of slides. That's what's burned off his tires just slightly. But he's been doing a great job. Currently about 2 seconds back from Joseph. So there's a lot of work to be done. But if we start to see Joseph Watchhorn get side by side, duking it out, really battling hard and not trying to stay in line to pull away from the 21, things could get mixy here, and we could be seeing another third driver into the mix, as now McGill has passed that of Butcher Benjamin. He's slowly trying to gain up, but in the past 2 laps, he has actually lost time for the 21 over our leader.
Yeah, he's losing time, and meanwhile, they kind of single file out here with going to be 25 to go this time at the line. Meanwhile, this battle's starting to heat up. So is this one towards the rear of the field. You know, they're not just battling up at the front. They're battling all over this track right now. While they're going on, you got Pattengale, Strofe, Flores, Franks, all these guys. While they're not necessarily battling for the lead, they're all on the lead lap, and they're all putting on a good battle, as well as this one right here going on for a top 5 position.
Yeah, Butcher Benjamin going up against Purcell, as well as the 8 of Dingler going to be mixed into this. All 3 drivers willing to get mixy, and now also throw in Brooker, who won at Talladega last week. Certainly has not been a favorite to win tonight, but has been mixing up in the top 10. He brought out one of our last cautions, and it was just a little bit of a self-spin, and now being mixy, he's driving up, thinking about 3 wide. And for the 3 of Brooker, he's got freshest of tires of the other 2 drivers he's racing against. I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks about forcing it 3 wide, as here they come out of turn number 4. Just not enough space.
It's just not quite enough, and it doesn't look like he's going to need it now, as he's going to follow the 8 through that hole. But, well, no, he's not. That hole just closed very quickly, as he was not able to capitalize off a little bit of a draft there. Well, not much, but he was a little hole, and he could have pulled him through just a little bit, but he was unable to do it. Right behind them, they're starting to get a little squirrely back here as well, between the 97 and I believe that is the 52, yes it is, of Peterson and also Berger.
Then you got Springer behind them, as well as Deal, and we saw Berger and Deal make a little bit of contact between themselves, but certainly right now it's the 52 Peterson able to move his way through that little bit of a jam-packed hornet's nest of 4 drivers, and now finally up to 9th place. Springer now going to be going below and trying to make the pass on that of Berger. And Jeremy Berger, currently right now one of those drivers that's just aiming for a top 10 finish for himself. If he can finish in the top 10, he'll be pretty proud of the way of tonight's race has gone. But Springer able to make the pass, and there they go, making the moves, and in front of them it's going to be that of the Dingler and Brooker. They are still duking it back and forth.
And you know that we're watching that lead, so you don't miss anything on it. The gap to second has gone from 0.18 to 0.2, now 2.5, 2.6. So actually your leader, Joseph, is pulling away from Watchhorn for the race lead. So that's an interesting one we're keeping an eye on to see if maybe Watchhorn has anything for him. And this driver right here with 17 to go, that is the 21 of Holden McGill. We know he's been fast all night. The question is, does he have enough time to make up the real estate that he needs to win this race?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the drivers certainly right now hoping that this race, I mean, at least especially for Joseph, that the race finishes green flag. But I think for some of the other drivers, they're kind of hoping for a late yellow. I mean, for Holden McGill, we know he is one of the fastest drivers early in the stint. And if everyone's on equal footing tire-wise, 21 certainly is going to be the hardest driver to pass. But I think another factor that we really haven't talked about is dirty air. It's a lot more prevalently known to cause issue for drivers when you're racing at 1.5 miles, 2 miles, or even bigger courses than that. The dirty air here at a short track still can be effective. It is very difficult to try to, when you're on equal footing and running very similar times, if you're stuck behind someone else, that could really plow your car through the center and entry of the corner to wear your tires out quicker and not enable you to really make these passes. There was really great racing action going on screen, as right now it's Purcell going up against Deal. Just a lot of hard contact, and these drivers still, they are battling to see who's going to be getting the most points. As Deal, he's right on the bubble, 9th coming into this race in points. He needs to have a solid run. As Purcell, another one of those guys outside of the top 10 in points. It's just a lot of points thinking for these drivers and trying to get the best finish possible to the second to last race here in the first round of the top 16 in points.
Yeah, while that battle goes on, still another one up here at the front between the three of Nate Brooker and the one of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. That battle's still underway. Not a whole lot going up at the front right now. Your front four have really pulled away from the rest of this field. That being Joseph, Watchhorn, McGill, and Hamilton. So not a whole lot going on. The closest battle on track is actually just about at the rear of the field, Patton Gale, and that is Ryder Stroll. So there's your closest battle for position on track at the moment. And right as I say that, while this one's heating up, there's also one heating up right about here now as well, as Hamilton and Broker and Benjamin all right there together, as Broker maybe will get by Hamilton for a top 4 finish.
Credit to Hamilton. He's been out there now a total of 69 laps on these tires and still up in 4th place. The 12 machine, he built up a big enough lead where he's able to hold off most of the field. As here comes Nate Brooker to the inside, the 3. He's got the slightly fresher tires. You would think that the tires will start to plateau now, but still, when they're that old and that big of a difference, got to give the advantage to the 3, as a lot of pinching there, almost rubbing through the center of the corner, but it's going to be the 3 of Brooker able to hold strong as they're side by side entering 3.
And they are side by side, and it's going to be the 3 with the advantage off of the corner. And as they go to the line right there, I believe the 3 is going to have it. Meanwhile, while this is going on, as they're beating and banging all the way through the corners, the 3 will take it. Joseph in that 20 machine out front with now 13 laps to go.
Yeah, the laps have just ticked away almost instantly. It is ridiculous how fast this race has gone by. And looking at the field right now, Joseph coming across the line, 4 laps to go for himself. And for this 20 machine, it's been, a waiting game for most of this race. Holden McGill was one of the top drivers. Watchhorn came into the mix looking like he was going to be someone trying to steal this win away. And Joseph, fresh tires, first to really spearhead cutting his way through traffic. It's worked out the best for this team, as now it's 3 laps to go for Joseph.
Yeah, just again, very few laps to go, and we apologize. It says 14 to go. We're having some minor issues there with the overlays. We do apologize for that. But yes, very, very few laps to go left in this race. We'll try to get these back up before the race is over. Don't know if it's going to happen, but apparently they decided they didn't want to work for us here. But Joseph is on lap 198, and he is coming right there, one lap, and he is on the white flag. This is your CRN, 1 to go.
Joseph for the 20 machine came in tied with Logan Hamilton for the most points, and with this win, it's going to be notching the 20 top of the board, and certainly got to be feeling good for himself. Joseph wins here at the Backwood 200 at North Wilkesboro.
What a race indeed. Again, you couldn't ask for a better race when it comes down to it. Just outstanding racing all over. Very few cautions for a short track. And, for my first time with this series, definitely impressed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, based on the ways that these guys were racing during Charlotte and how aggressive they were at a 1.5 mile course, there was a lot of question marks on how aggressive these guys were to be here tonight. And Joseph wins, but all the wrecks that we really saw, there was maybe only one where it was because cars making collisions. All the other times it was because someone made a mistake of locking up their brakes or making a misshift. Besides that, everyone was racing very respectfully, and that's why we didn't see as many yellows as we possibly could have seen if drivers were not giving a lot of space and room to everyone.
Yeah, they definitely gave us space and a lot of room and made for a great race. The engine expires on that 20 machine. That being said, we'll step away real quick, get these drivers rounded up for the top 3. We'll talking to Joseph, Merrick Watchhorn, and Holden McGill here in just a few moments. Before we do, we got to thank some sponsors. We'll be back here in just a few moments with your top 3 drivers here in the post-race show.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Welcome back, race fans, here at LSRTV at North Wilkesboro, virtually, as only an exciting race is all you can say here for tonight. And what a race it was. Sam, we've caught up with the top 3 drivers here for the post-race show. And as always, we start with a third place driver, as that will be none other than Holden McGill, who won both stages and just came up a little bit short, and I mean very little, as I thought he maybe had 10 more laps, 15. I think he could have put that thing in the victory lane. Holden, what do you think in your mind you needed to set that thing in the victory lane here tonight?
Well, apparently a freaking 20 on the side of it, but no, I think you saying 10 more laps is very generous. I just needed track position is the main thing. Everybody in these 3 is just so even that you get behind, hard to make it up.
We came in here before we handed it to Sam for his questionnaire. We knew tires would be something to consider. So fuel, you had plenty of that, 70 laps, but was the strategy to maybe save your tires for the last bit in case there were a few cautions? And we didn't see a whole lot of cautions for that matter, so did that strategy change, or was it as was and you just kind of ran with it?
Well, it kind of changed a couple times over the course of the race, and then at the very end, it was just kind of the 2 guys ahead of me hit pit road, so honestly I panicked and hit pit road, and in the end it just worked out.
Yeah, I mean, Holden, it was certainly an amazing run on your part for stage 1 and stage 2. You just looked like the most dominant car out there. You know, I touched on it late during the broadcast, but did it seem like track position and also dirty air could have been the biggest factors out there on why it was so hard to make passes?
Well, track position was huge. Dirty air was affecting a little bit, but I mean, you could make passes. Just you had to set them up pretty easily. But yeah, track position was the name of the game tonight, and after about 10 laps, so was tire wear.
Well, a good run for you, though. You got those stage wins, so you get those bonus points. I believe you got the lap led, obviously. Most laps led, I'm fairly confident in saying that. That being said, before we let you go and celebrate the third place finish here and a point, just an outstanding points night, who's on the side of the car you need to thank sponsor-wise?
Not really any official sponsors. Just want to thank my teammates. We all work hard to get each other prepared for the race and push each other to be better. Thanks to the L-TAC admins for helping put on a good show, and thanks to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. I'm looking forward to going to watch it.
All right, again, congrats on the third place finish. Speaking of second, I was about to say second, that is Merrick Watchorn in the number 91 machine. A good run there. You were in the top pretty much all day. You come away with a second place finish here tonight. And you were right there with Joseph for a while. And just battling this track, again, very few cautions on a short track, a half mile. To get out of here and really the car be in one piece, even a second place, does it feel like a win knowing that iconically on iRacing, short tracks are usually caution fest?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the race, all throughout the race, was just a really intense battle between JJ and Holden and myself. We were out there like duking it out and just putting everything on the table. When we got to that final stitch of the race, I was like, I need a pit with 50 to go so we can get some tires on this thing so we can actually drive our way up to the front and just drive away. But I guess Holden and also JJ had the same plan too. So I mean, it was a great fun race. I mean, a lot of hard battling. I mean, coming second overall, finishing stage 1, 2, and the final stretch. I mean, I'll take it as a win and focus on the next race and try to get my third win by the end of the season, hopefully.
Well, definitely, I look forward to watching some more. Not sure, I probably won't be back on the producer's chair for a while, as I'm, again, typically tied up on Friday nights. But a good run for you as we hand it to Sam.
Yeah, I mean, Merrick, you certainly put on a show, like you said, second place during all the stages and here at the finale of this thing. We're going to Twin Ring Motegi, and you said you want to get that third win. How are you feeling about that course in 2 weeks?
Honestly, it's a wild card at this point. I'm hoping that it'll drive like Chicagoland, and I can pull another Chicago on everyone's noses and pull off the win there. But as of right now, I'm just trying to mitigate my points and trying to stay inside the top 10 as right now. But honestly, ready for some more and ready to get some racing done.
Well, as always, again, congrats, and we got to give you that moment to thank any sponsors, any shout outs you can give. So who would they be on the side of that car?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates from Bumper to Bumper. I want to thank Innovation in Motion, Twiggy Machine. Twiggy Machine was really fast all night. I want to thank my friends from Capture the Occasion and Futuristic Studios. Really good friends of mine, so I made sure to put their logos on the side of my car. And I just want to thank my alignment team with Badger Racing. We worked all weekend long working together, so Holden and I were battling during practice and during the actual race, so it was kind of fun.
Oh, definitely. Again, congrats on that second place. And we were calling him Joseph. I just want to call him the JJ now because, it's JJ. So either way, Joseph, JJ, he drove the 20 to victory lane here tonight. He had the little cough there, but Joseph, you put it in victory lane. You get to hang out with the victory lane girls. You get the chicken dinner. How's it feel to be in victory lane?
Honestly, it's pretty exciting because I honestly had no thought that I was going to win the race. I thought Holden or Merrick was going to win because at the end of the first two stages, I kind of fell off a little bit. I think I burnt my rear off, but like all three of our cars were so even. It was just whoever got the track position was gonna win. It's kind of like the Dover race in real life, how all 400 cars were like dead even, and like once Bowman got the lead, he was able to pull away, kind of like this.
Well, track position definitely was key. I know we saw a couple of drivers. So a big one, McGill, getting loose, and the car would kind of kick sideways on these older tires. How much was it a fight when you get into 50, 60 lap stint tires? How much of a handful were these cars to try to keep them going in the right direction?
Yeah, it was definitely really difficult. You had to like baby it off the turns a little bit, like use half throttle, and really had to like wheel the car. It was really difficult to drive. So They made a good job making the setup hard to drive while still being fast, so props to them. I like this setup a lot. But yeah, it was fairly difficult, and it was a driver's track basically, so it was good, intense racing.
And we'll pass it down to Sam.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph, you obviously shown once you got up to the lead that it was anyone that was up front, they were going to pull away and look great. We were notified before the race that you were on probation. How much did that kind of also get into your mind of, I can't get too aggressive, even though with short track racing, you kind of want to move people around if you got the opportunity?
I'm not going to lie, I didn't even like remember that. I just like raced as hard as I could. In that like last stint, I was like super aggressive because I knew I had to get through. I was just like making every like 3 wide hole. I don't know how I fit my car there, but apparently it did fit, and that's honestly what won me the race, making those aggressive moves in the middle. So I wasn't hindered at all by it.
All right, and we are getting word that I'm not sure if it's official or not, but Race Control believes that this win makes him tied for the winningest driver. Let me confirm that. Let's check that real quick. Said Joseph believe is now tied for the most wins on the season. So there you go. You get the win and possibly tied for the most wins on the season. And before we let you go, on that note, see if you got any sponsors on the side of that car. Anyone you just want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Pit Stop TV, Race Pace, Tucson Sound Art. They got a fast Camaro together. It was a really difficult race. Thank you guys in the broadcast for putting a great broadcast. I'm probably gonna watch it later on, rewatch it. And yeah.
All right, well, again, congrats on the win here tonight, and of course to our top three and everyone else here tonight. And Sam, we might have forgot one piece of vital information that go through here. We were excited to get in and talk to these drivers. That, of course, is your unofficial race results. As now they're in, it's going to be Joseph, Merrick Watchhorn, and Holden McGill, who we just talked to, followed by Nate Brooker, Logan Hamilton, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Grant Peterson, Ryan Dingler, Richard Springer, and Sean Deal gonna be your top 10, Sam.
Yeah, and then in 11th, we're seeing some more playoff drivers. Deal will get a top 10 finish, good for himself. But Colin Stone, Stefan Purcell, Kevin Franks, Frank Flores, got to be kind of hoping for better times in 2 weeks at Twin Ring Motegi, where you can gain a lot more points. But some of these drivers, there might be already out of contention mathematically of making it to the next round. We'll wait and see what the points for sure look like, but unofficially it's not looking good for a lot of those drivers. Stone looks like he might still be in a good spot, but you also got Jeremy Berger in 15th with that of Brett Fisher. Ryder Strauff going to be a lap down with Fisher leading that group, as well as Pat Gill, Kyle Green, and those are the drivers that were able to finish out this race, as McFadden could not finish it in 20th. And the rest of the field did not even start.
Yeah, unfortunately for the ones that didn't start. Before we sign off here tonight, Sam, final thoughts on your first race announcing with me for this series, and I believe your second or third, not sure how many you've covered, but overall, what are your thoughts on this great race here at North Wilkesboro Speedway?
No, I mean, this was incredible. The drivers are proud of themselves. I know Nolan's proud of the whole entire league. This was probably the best North Wilkesboro race you could ask for. Like I said, most of the wrecks were under someone just making a mental error of locking up their brakes and just making a mistake, spinning themselves out. Well, it was great, hard racing. Not everyone bumping someone and wrecking the field. It was awesome to see. But with a 2-week break, I know a lot of drivers haven't really ran the Twin Ring Motegi Oval course that much. So this is going to be a great time for a lot of drivers to get practice and get prepared for that next race.
It definitely is indeed. And of course, on behalf of Jeff Stabnow and everyone here at LSRTV, myself, Sam, and everyone else involved that makes these broadcasts happen, of course, Nolan Rimble for getting us involved here for L-TAC. We hope you have a great weekend. Today's only Friday. Weekend's just getting started. Enjoy it. Go to a real racetrack if there's one near you. Support local racing. And we'll see you on Sunday for the Adrenaline iRacing League season finale, 200 laps at Atlanta.